When I think of a song, it's broken up into its different elements. At its heart, there's the chord progression, the melody, and the lyrics, all of which I consider mostly unchangeable. Then there's the arrangement and tempo that can be changed around to adjust the song length and its flow. Lastly, there's the instrumentation and vocal that can be dramatically changed around while leaving the song itself intact. It's the instrumentation and vocal that really determine the feel of the song and who it appeals to. That's part of what makes playing covers so fun and interesting. You can take one song and express it in an infinite number of ways. It also means that you can have a really strong song at its heart that isn't generally appealing because of its sound. Not only do we want to find a good sound for a song, but sound is also like the look or image for an artist. It's great if an artist has a unique sound that listeners can recognize. But how do you find your sound? It used to be said that eventually every song possible would be written and there'd be nothing left that was truly unique or original. But we know that's not going to happen. The infinite combinations of chord progressions, melodies, lyrics, singing styles, arrangements, and instrumentation make it relatively easy to create new music. The challenge is breaking free of our influences and combining them to make something that's our own. I've never really concerned myself with my own sound. I've always felt that it would come naturally with time and experience, and that's partly true. But now the problem is my freedom to create may never lead me to my own sound, especially if I'm always experimenting and changing things around. At some point, I feel that I need to settle for a certain sound that listeners can recognize as being mine. I'm a homesteader as well as a musician. And a big part of homesteading is learning to settle for what you have and making the best of it. And I like the idea of settling and making the best of what you have. The alternative is constantly looking for more and probably never settling on anything and never feeling content. Now I have a good collection of instruments to help me decide where to start. And I should start with what I have. Guitar wasn't my first instrument, but it's been my mainstay for decades, and I use it for more than just writing songs and accompanying me. It also supplies a specific sound, including percussive rhythm and hefty tone with generous, sparkling harmonics. And lately, my recordings have included at least 2 guitar tracks, and most often 3. That's a big part of my sound right there. I've never called piano one of my instruments because I thought I was bluffing, but I love playing the piano, and its voicing is different than guitar, so the instruments complement each other really well. Then there's the bass guitar. I picked up bass a few years back to play in a local rock band. It's super fun to play, and I always look forward to picking it up. It's also part of so many different music genres that it doesn't always create a specific feel or sound. I'm not funky, so I don't plan on slapping the bass guitar. Electronic bass is still an option, but I do love the real thing. At this point, my sound is pretty standard fare and nothing unique, so I might as well throw in the electric guitar since I have a nice one and it offers me a wide choice of tones, as well as surprising rolls in the song. It can fill out the rhythm nicely without getting lost in the mix, It also rises above when there's a catchy hook to highlight. But it will also give me some ambient background harmonies and give my sound a mystical feel. The problem is if I turn on the overdrive, I'll swing pretty quickly into classic rock, and that's not what I want for my own music. Then there's the drums. Percussion is my weakest skill, and carving out a unique percussion sound for my music is too much to ask at this point. That's a journey all of its own. But I'm pretty sure that I want to use a standard acoustic kit and not electronic percussion, though I'm using electronic percussion to carry me for a while until I get better with my kit. What I have so far is looking like nothing new, but it is me, so I'll have to go a little further. In the studio, I have my flute, which was my first instrument. There's also a lap steel guitar that belongs to somebody else but lives here for the moment. And I have an accordion. But boy, I'm reluctant to go there. We'll see. Maybe I just need to try it out on a few projects. The big departure comes when I get onto the computer. In my digital audio workstation, there's a huge library of sounds and instruments. Pretty much anything that I'd want. Without this, I'd be working with the gear that I have, but the choices are endless once I delve into the sound library. Honestly, I can get lost in there and never get anything accomplished. It helps a lot if I have an idea to start with, but it is a rabbit hole. A good plan might be to find a good library sound and stick to it for a while. There's a nice electronic piano sample that I used for the song Summer Rain. It has an electronic feel, even though it's meant to emulate a vintage electric piano. So I'll add that to my arsenal of instruments. And maybe that's the path I need to take. I have my basic starting points with the instruments I have and love, and then there's whatever I choose to add on a case-by-case basis. There certainly are a lot of instruments that I'd love to own, including a cello or baritone guitar. But buying more instruments is only going to give me more choices, and I can't say if that would help or not. One of the great things about making these videos is that it forces me into some deeper reflection, and the answers I need usually come along during the process. But I might not like those answers. Part of me wants something new and original, a sound that would give me a fresh and novel image. And when I get a sound that reminds people of the 70s, it feels like I'm going backwards. Back to the homesteading ideal and accepting what we already have. It's odd that I've settled into a lifestyle so easily, but I can't be as accepting of the sound that I've developed over a lifetime of music. I've accepted my identity as a person, but not as a musician. In the meantime, I'm hoping to work with more musicians and help them with their songs and their sound. It gives me a chance to experiment with musical ideas that I may not be able to use in my personal projects. And really, at its heart, my channel is about fun and creative experimentation with music. It's not a calculated drive towards a career as a performing artist. So I'll have to stop shooting for the moon, at least for the time being. I'll just play my instruments, use them where it seems right, and see if my sound can find me, instead of the other way around.